problema.
Yeah.
Do you want to be on the left or on the right? Your phone's right here.
That's fine. You want any candy?
Yes.
They brought in.
Is that you? Did you bring that in?
Yeah, it's kind of probably not.
Is that your kids' candy? Are you punishing your children? Is this exactly what it is? This is why kids hate grown-ups.
Oh.
Take their candy and share it with their grown-up kid friends. Recording?
I think I hit record.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It's all good to get 41 seconds. Alright, I get my coffee, I get my tea. Alright. Let's go for it. Now let me get my oh. You don't want to sit in the big chairs? You don't want to sit in the that way we can face one another?
I like that idea.
Yeah, a little bit easier.
P3.
Before there was land.
So there's no
Scratchy
wobble sounds.
Oh, smart. You must have taken vibration and dampening in your.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah,
Did I
you
ever
told
tell
me
you
that
this one?
Okay, here's what you told me. You said you had a professor
Yes.
who said everything is oscillation and they're going to be putting the casket over your body and you're going to think, oh, that's an underdamped oscillation or overdamped or whatever.
Critically damped.
Critically damped, that's right.
Which I don't even know if I think that's the proper
Yeah.
term, but it also works with death. So there you have it.
Critically damped. That's what it is to be dead. So what were we talking about prior? I guess we were just testing the microphones. That's basically it.
We were talking about rebranding your social media.
This is true.
Getting yourself to those next point followers, right? You need a number of followers with a point in it, or you're not doing it right.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I see what you mean.
And I'll tell you how to do this because I count them by the one. I count them by the one still.
I'm all ears.
I still have my single digit. No, I'm still.
Single digit, Jesus.
So we were talking about you were going to go post a clip, not a clip. Share
a part of a multi-part post,
right,
with me in it.
But you can share the frame you're in, right?
Yeah,
so
that's the nice.
That's
thing.
a nice thing because you do want to. You're like, hey, I'm in the middle of this swipe fest, and I want to be prominently displayed. And you were number 2. Photo number 2.
Yeah,
is a big deal.
it is.
And so you're not too far for the people to swipe, but they need to find you photo 1. And I remember anytime you have a club putting your picture up, even if they're not like this particular guy was this particular moment in our life and we are forever changed, right? You still need that. You still want to. You want to share that. It's a good thing to share. So that's what happened. I was ignoring helping you set up, and that's when I found that you were on it, and then I told you about it, and then we were both ignoring setting up at that point.
And then you said, "Don't post that. Focus on the podcast."
Yes, and here it is.
So,
and this is what we are.
And we're still talking about it.
Yes, and this is what we were past. We've passed up a lot for this, and then I ate candy, and my mouth is salivating now.
What's the genesis of this candy again?
I think you have multiple holidays. Pagan, of course.
Yeah.
Where candy is the focus, and
multicolored, weird shapes.
Yes,
Like
and you'll
Pat
notice
Oswalt bit.
which brand
Of
candy? Which brand goes between seasons the most with their packaging? Maybe
Starburst. Well,
it's Starbucks too. Red Cup. Christmas.
Yeah, we're on Christmas. We're on Easter.
We're on Christmas.
I guess also like Skittles. But you know what? Actually, that's cheating. Because Skittles doesn't change according to like holiday. It changes like it's almost more agricultural. Because they'll have like the like lime, lemon, citrus. You know, like these are when the equatorial farms are doing like the orchards are open.
They're seasonal.
They're seasonal. They're more like strictly seasonal.
Or lunar calendar.
Sure. This goes all the way to the top.
And then
if you want the thermostat on the world economy. Look at
Watch
Skittles.
the Skittles. They're
Watch
trying to
Skittles.
tell us
Yeah.
that they're just screwing with us
Uh-huh.
through Skittles. I
The
just
cloud seeding.
saw taste the rainbow. How would you taste the rainbow?
In parentheses, open your freaking eyes.
It all goes together. Why? Who more?
Who among us?
Thank you. Who's holding the pot of gold?
Exactly.
He who controls the rainbow. They think the gay agenda is a distraction.
No, it is the rainbow itself.
You think the promise that God would never flood the earth again is a distraction? Mm-hmm. This is
Well, what happens before a rainbow?
clouds.
Flood.
Well,
I actually thought that was what you
I thought
were.
it was like the way you said it was like, here, Chris, here's an easy one. Let's keep playing this game. And then
I'm not lowballing
And then I
anything.
was like, oh no, I don't know where we go.
We are breathing the rarefied air of pop flies.
Yeah, the alley oop I could not jump for. So I saw a picture today of allegedly a young Katy Perry with allegedly a young Mark Zuckerberg. Have you seen this go around the internet?
No.
I would like to know. Let's triple tangent this. My Twitter has gone off the deep end, and I don't know. I believe Twitter was always a cesspool. I believe post Musk, Twitter has gotten just more of like the filth of the internet of just has taken over Twitter.
Oh yeah. It's like the '80s New York, where it's just like trash.
It does feel
And
like
everyone's
that.
kind of. It's actually like everyone's on strike, so nobody's doing any sanitation.
So like, was it Kurt Russell? Who am I thinking of?
It was pre-Giuliani, pre-G days.
Of course,
Before
they cleaned up the place.
he did literally do that, and that was basically.
Twitter needs Giuliani.
Oh my God,
That would be it.
you're right.
And that, I mean, he was on there not too long ago with the Borat. Was it? No, it wasn't Borat. Was
No,
it
it was
Bruno?
something subsequent movie film.
Was it a Borat? It was.
It was Borat.
It was
It was
the
a
man.
sequel.
The man. I can picture his face.
Sacha Baron Cohen
Yes,
as Borat. It was.
It was-
well, no, it was. It was Borat
but that was the last time Giuliani was
when they got him for.
just he was fixing his pants. And I discreetly. You ever have to? Oh gosh, Zivan, we will bring it back to whatever we were on.
No, it's fine. I gotta.
Put a pin in.
It's got a
I'd like
lot
to
of pins.
revisit adjusting your pants in public. That's one for me. That could be something. My Twitter though has just turned into conspiracy theories, fights. There's a lot of fight videos,
Like physical fights.
physical fights,
Uh-huh.
and I've gotten heavy propaganda. Everything's heavy propaganda, mostly conspiracy theory.
What kind of conspiracy theories?
Like this picture of Zuckerberg and
Oh, can I? Okay,
Katy
so
Perry that
what are
says,
they
like,
doing?
just next to each other.
Just hanging out?
But it's like, this looks like an innocent picture of a fan and a musician. This
No,
is
it's not.
the globalist agenda shown.
Interesting.
So you go, I've got to just read the comments because I want to see someone explain to me how this is photoshopped. These people aren't real. This is real. This, I love the whole.
Well, that kind of reminds me of a picture I saw where it was like two people at maybe like a red carpet showing or something. Like basically, it was clearly like a picture for like a premiere of a movie or something. And they're both standing side by side, and it's like Gigi Palermo and Radek Dukukliakis or something. Like just, I did not recognize the names,
Got it.
and I didn't really recognize the faces. And the comment above it was like, "You can't tell me that people aren't just AI generating celebrities and expecting us to know who they are."
Right.
And I'm like, that actually like makes you could just have, how there's like click farms. You know what those are?
No.
Click farms are like how the fuck do I
Is that
explain
where fake
it?
followers live?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So you commission like 24 Bangladeshi kids to just click and like follow things and
Yes.
or like for video games, it'll be just like clicking and like killing goblins all day.
Oh.
It's literally just like we need warm bodies to do very repetitive internet tasks. So yeah, like fake followers, playing RPG games, just stuff like that.
You can get it if you want to like level up your game. You can just send them your.
You can literally,
login.
especially like when World of Warcraft was huge. You as a player could make a lot of money if you just sat down and played for hundreds of hours and then sold all of your like gear and loot and stuff. You could make an actual living doing that. You can make a sod. Now, obviously, the game is fun, whatever. Why did I even talk about it? Click Farm. Oh yeah, so we have Click Farms.
So why isn't a Click Farm creating content for?
Yeah, just frivolous content. And you can just write a script that just makes up AI images all day, like looks like Katy Perry, hyper realistic photo, 4K, ultra. I've been on a lot of AI generated art subreddits recently.
Using is it these people are not real.com or something like
Essentially,
that?
It's the same
so
thing.
Good.
And so you could just have an automated like persona mill.
It all works until they have 7 earlobes, and you go, "What the heck was that?"
And it's getting better at even like getting rid of that.
Yes,
like these models are getting. If you this is a little in deep baseball, so give me exactly 20 minutes or 20 seconds to talk about it, and then
I'm in.
and
then after that, I want a list of top 10 most likely AI generated celebrities.
Okay, we can do that. Basically, with these AI prompts, you can say the prompt, what's called the positive prompt, what you want. So, Labrador Retriever, photorealistic, blue eyes in sunset near pool. But then you can do the negative prompt, which kind of preemptively gets rid of any of the issues.
Labrador Retriever doing anything but eating raspberry ice cream.
Exactly. Normal number of paws, definitely doesn't have 3 tails. Like you can you can catch it on the other end.
Okay.
And then you can get something that's really realistic. So you want a 10 AI generated. Can we make this dead or alive? I think it's better.
Sure.
If it's
Paul Walker, that's fine.
Can I give like not an inaugural, but like a special mention?
Honorable mention.
Before
mention. The list.
And it's not even a celebrity, it's an animal.
Oh, good. That's why it should be.
Like an armadillo.
You don't think they exist?
No, certainly they do. I've seen hundreds of them in my life.
But the armadillo content,
they're just weird.
Is AI generated?
Yeah, like if you were to, I mean, this is such an easy joke, right? Like if you describe any animal in any amount of detail, it sounds completely made up. But like an armadillo is just, it's just as weird as a giraffe and just as common as a squirrel.
In Texas,
and also like huge parts of the South.
Yeah.
And then they have like relatives in Australia, like pangolins.
I'm familiar with
like armored mammals, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They're very. I know about armadillos because like that is a quintessential. When I think of an armadillo, I can't not think of it in a hat.
You think AI tried to draw a turtle and just got messed up?
Let's see what the prompt would be like.
Turtle, definitely not 3 tails. And like, shoot, I forgot to tell them the pattern on the shell.
Yeah, and it just kind of went like pill bug turtle, kind of ratty, photorealistic 4K HD.
My children have taken a real sledgehammer to my vocabulary.
How so?
I call those roly-polies now.
Good. What did you used to call them? Pill bugs?
No.
I didn't even know what they were. I refuse to acknowledge
Potato
them.
bugs. We called them potato bugs.
And you're from
Ohio.
Ohio. Interesting.
And then roly-polies now. But, anything we say or do is kitty voice and dumbed down.
Roly-poly. There's no way to say roly-poly without. That's actually why I like to be called Z as a nickname, because I discovered very early on that there's no way to say Z angrily, or like there's a ceiling on how mad you can be at a Z.
100%. And
it's there. It's like you could still get furious at me, but you're less likely to.
You don't have a hard consonant.
Exactly. What, Zivan? I'm screwed.
Yeah.
It comes down like a hammer.
It can get singy-songy.
Yeah, Z. I was little, it was ZZ.
When you're smaller, you get more letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, our son Isaiah, you can't get mad at him because you sound whiny when you try to. It's too many. I was like, why didn't we name him Jake?
Rick. Richard. You can.
We just went
You
Rick
can
Jake.
throw a.
What if we called him Rick Jake?
Rick Jake. Oh yeah, you can send Richard to jail. You can be just so punitive.
He's ready. He's ready for jail.
Yeah.
And now, if you
Jail.
don't get a name that you can send to jail, then the kid does go to jail. I would. Can we cross that? That's not. Let's send this to the students at CMU. But soft names, jail population.
Oh, just do like a quick little.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a data science project.
It's
You
an
can do
easy
it.
one.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
just. I could do that.
Please run those names and let me know
Run
if
those
having
numbers.
a softer name or a harder name gives you a higher or lower.
Chance of it
being
would be.
incarcerated.
This is a perfect example of like causation correlation stuff.
Yes.
But it would be interesting.
I'm saying if a kid had a name where their parent couldn't get their attention so easily,
Just like
and they're more likely to go down the wrong path.
would it be like a disciplinable name
Right.
essentially?
My fear
Yeah.
with my son. That's why I'm worried about. So please
Yeah.
let there be no correlation.
Yeah, have all of the hard consonant names at the front of the class because we have to keep, at the back of the class, and have all of the flowy ethereal
Yes.
names because you need to be closer
Yes.
and you need to be able to catch them.
Right.
That's true.
Students should be seated according to their ability to hear.
Well, that actually makes an incredible amount of sense. Anyways, I was always blown away that because if you can't see the board, that's fine. But if you can't hear what's being said, that's even more alienating. I would
Yes.
much rather be blind than deaf.
Yeah, because
In
you
a
check
heartbeat.
out.
Yeah.
You check out in those. And they're always like, I remember being in, fourth grade or whatever when they said, teachers teach in a T shape, right? You know what I'm talking about? The front row gets the attention and the middle gets the attention.
Oh, but then the kind of the shoulders,
Like the back corners don't get,
the lats.
they don't get talked
Of
to.
the room.
The lats of the room, just like someone who doesn't have one of those pulley systems
Yeah,
in
that's
their
right.
gym. So I said, that's great. I want to hide in the corner. I still say I knew it and I wanted to be a good student, but I was like, I know I'm getting a better education in these other seats, but I'm going to go to the cheap seats
Can I
where I
ask?
can hide.
So when you were in elementary school and in middle school and in high school, in the 80s, 90s. So like
90, yeah.
90s, mostly 90s.
89. I think I started my academic career in 89.
Okay, cool. So yeah, from 90 to 2008 or whatever. Like your whole. I feel like back in the day, you would hear as a child more. What am I trying to say? I feel like showing kids behind the curtain was more popular back in the day. Like, this is the educational model that we are using.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Maybe.
I have no basis for that. But like when I think back to like my classes, although the thing is that I don't think I'm a very representative group because like I was in all of the GT classes.
What's GT?
Gifted and talented.
Oh.
Well, but the point there is that in those classes, everything is
we have a nerd on our hands.
No, here's the
Look at Fancy Pants.
No.
Look at
Oh my
little
God.
ZZ coming in with his pocket. I was two.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I was about to say, are you kidding me right now? Like, are you really trying? Are we playing this game right now?
I wanted to see how far I could go into dogging on you and then bringing it home with
Bring it
the
in.
reveal.
I appreciate it.
But like, I think the nasally voice tells you.
It's the interesting thing about. Actually, maybe this is a better thing to talk about. I feel like what we call advanced classes is we're just going to let any 20 to 30 something year old with like an educational theory or model try it out on these smart kids because they can handle it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like if a kid is smart enough, you can just kind of like Willy Wonka them.
The kid will run the class to success.
Exactly. So like they're good lab rats. Because they can follow instructions. It's like, we're going to do every prime number class outside with papyrus. And I mean, of course, you're a precocious 10-year-old. So you're like, that sounds great. Let's do that.
There's so much here.
I think I'm realizing this now. I don't think I got a better education. I think I got weirder, more left hand, right turn, just any pop psychology, whatever. You could just try it out on me.
First of all, the program we were in took us out of normal like reading and writing class. So I became deficient at those.
Yep.
Because I wasn't doing enough of that in my spare time. So like I kind of had a real dip in reading comprehension. I feel like. because I was missing out on that class. Secondly, shout out to Mrs. Verdi, killer teacher who did the program. She was like, when we were younger, did the program, right? She was like our late elementary was when they put us
Like
in
fourth grade.
They put like 8 of us. They put 4 of us at first in the class, which is like very elite.
That's a perfect. That is a lab rat group.
Yeah,
that's a perfect.
And
that's
then
like
they put more eventually, but she was, I don't know what it was. She was retiring or something, and they did an interview, and she said, all I wanted to teach these kids was how to fail. And I was like, what a smart.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was like.
That's actually really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything came easy to you, and now you're going to have to, somewhere you're going to hit your ceiling.
Yep.
And yeah, good job. 2nd grade math was not your ceiling.
Good thing. Yep.
And now what are you going to do when you hit that wall someday and you just think you're terrible? And
it's called gifted kid burnout.
Oh.
That's like for me, like my generation, like as we turn into like 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds, and we enter that kind of like just now having any amount of corporate experience.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it usually starts happening in college, like late college, which is the whole like, yeah, everything comes easy to you, but now you have to try. How do you try? I don't know how to study, that kind of thing.
Yes.
But it's actually, I would say it's deeper than that. Because it's not just like, oh, smart kids don't have to try.
It's on top of whatever you want to call everybody gets a trophy. The world getting nicer.
Yeah.
Or attempting to get nicer, but maybe not more helpful.
Well, that's part of it. That's exactly part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's also this element of, we were promised a stable economy. We were promised, just any amount of slots to fall into. And so it feels like this big slap in the face to be told you're so great, you're so talented. But then you actually go out in the world and find out.
Yes.
Even if I was as talented as they say I was, and I'm probably not, it actually doesn't even matter.
That's why we're doing this. I think part of the reason, if you don't come from absolute chaos and you go into comedy, you're disillusioned by the world not loving you as much as your mom promised you they would, or as much as the school told you.
I vividly remember. So I was really good friends with the principal at my elementary school. She loved me. She would have me over for like lunch in her office, and she would like order just blatant favoritism.
Yeah, you're not getting popular doing that though.
No, you're not. Well, the thing is she also knew that I was not very popular in general, and especially with other teachers. So she knew that these other teachers were actively antagonistic towards me. So I have to be. That was like her idea.
You had mean teachers?
I had fucking terribly mean teachers. Oh yeah, just really passive aggressive, nasty, oaky hints of racism. Just like it was like it was just very frustrating.
The smartest kid in our school got that from teachers too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I wasn't a normal smart kid. Like a good smart kid would be very demure and very like, oh, I just want to look out the window and write poems about things and solve quadratic equations. Like that's just very.
I think that was maybe demure.
Demure,
yes.
Yeah, demure. But I was not. I was very loud and brash with.
Oh, I know you now.
Oh yeah.
Now I know you. I see you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was a big thing. That was a big moment.
Yeah,
Zivan. That was big. What you just, I was flooded with images and just facial expressions, just little like smirks out of you as a young you. I'm picturing the hair being the same.
It was the exact same.
I'm not even looking at you now. I'm just kind of like picturing it. This is delightful. You were that kid.
I was angry.
Did you have how many? Well, actually, I already know you have a NASA logo on a shirt. Did you have a lot of NASA logos on your like backpack and stuff?
I had a lot of like comic book graphic tees.
Comic book.
That was my thing.
Uh-huh.
That was the main thing.
Okay.
But yeah.
And did you bring in your own projects? Your own?
All the time.
Your own work was like on the desk.
Everything was just, yeah. Oh yeah. No, I would bring like little, I tried to make like a solar collector just for fun, and then I brought it to school and tried to like cook like what do you call it? Hot dogs.
Oh, yeah,
like confocal mirror. Like I tried cooking hot dogs
Mm-hmm.
on the lawn. I would start these fashion trends. I would like make up languages. I would, try to sell comic books that I had written.
Just exhausting.
I was exhausted.
Yes, and isn't that what the mind is supposed to do? Like, you're doing what you're supposed to do.
I'm acting on every little neural impulse.
That's what being a kid is, and you did it right.
Yeah.
But
All to say, what the fuck was I even trying to say?
We're talking about the promise of the world.
Oh, yes, the promise of the world. Exactly. So there is this element of being like kind of gypped, sort of being like there was this thing that we were supposed to get and now we can't get it and now we're upset. And there's a lot of people, especially my age, kind of in like a 3-year window up down, who really just feel like very disillusioned and very just kind of in free fall, I think. And it's interesting to talk to so your kids are how old?
4 and 6.
4 and 6. Okay.
At the time of recording, but if this ever is released, they'll be like 10 and 8.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Well, like with your kids, I think, they're still kind of in like the entropy of young childhood where...
Right. I can't make them even follow a sport.
Yeah, there's really nothing is really congealing.
I tried to like force them into a sport and like glue a tennis racket into their hand or whatever. Nothing.
It won't happen.
They can't. The glue doesn't hold.
The only real things that really took for me were like writing camps.
Wow.
And I think chess camp was kind of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the first time that's ever been said in the history of humanity.
That was what really took.
I think chess camp was really fun.
It was, it was fun, but the thing is
How was lunch at chess camp?
You're uncorking some memories here. I remember hating it because my mom would always buy this like really seedy bread.
Oh,
bread with a lot of seeds. Now I can eat it.
Well, that's like Dave's Killer Bread.
Dave's Killer Bread, yeah, and I have to eat it just because it's got the calories. But I freaking hated that.
And it was a PB&J on this.
No, it was just oh my god.
You just got plain bread.
No, no, it was just like this really seedy bread, too much mayonnaise, not enough meat, no vegetables, cheese that I didn't like. My mom was
American cheese,
very bad at making sandwiches.
American cheese, highly processed plastic cheese.
We'll say for the purposes of.
Just trying to picture.
At time of recording, it was American cheese.
I like American cheese, but not with mayonnaise. Something about that for me.
It's too gummy.
Yeah, we've lost textural integrity.
What am I biting?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden there's these weird like nut-like things here.
Got it. I totally get it.
Yeah. Well, also, and I feel like I don't want to dominate my childhood recollections too much, but I feel like there was always it was always me. Yeah.
I just looked at my watch for the listeners. But did it like big casual?
Oh yeah.
Or big subtle. Yeah. I always like to go big subtle.
Big subtle.
But I think big subtle's funny.
The word you're looking for is passive aggressive, I think.
Yeah, where you're just like, I'm looking at my watch like little, but then it just keeps growing.
Mm-hmm. I think it was me versus the demure little geniuses in my class. It was always me versus the often richer, quieter, more well-tempered, smart kids. Like they would get a lot of attention.
Because they were we're going way too deep. They were supposed to be gifted.
Exactly.
You were not supposed to be gifted.
Exactly. I didn't dress, act, speak, or have the home life background of a gifted child. It seemed to kind of come ex nihilo. It came from a cup of coffee and hours of the library, hours in the woods, and talking to every adult that I could. That was where everything kind of woke up.
Is that the proper pronunciation?
What did I say?
Ex nihilo.
Ex nihilo?
Yeah. Write that down.
I think the pronunciation changes because it comes from nihil.
That's what I was saying. Ex nihilo.
Well, you say annihilate.
True.
So like to bring to nothing.
Yes.
So that's my guess. Ex nihilo.
Love it.
Yeah.
We learned something today, but it came out of nothing for the non-gifted listeners. Out of nowhere.
It seemed to come out of I of course I read all the time but I've always been scrappier than these kids, and I would develop intense grudges against these kids that got positive attention for just being, in my opinion, complete doormats. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, be a person. I would, it's like you want to slap them. And that made me very antagonist. And it wasn't really until this is very therapeutic. It wasn't it wasn't until like middle school and in high school where everybody's trying to be individual, and really that becomes the thing to be is, how do you carve out an independent thing?
Oh my goodness, that's yes.
And if you're funny, it's like, okay, then you're off to the,
But you do go through cycles in life of all I want to do is blend in,
Mm-hmm.
and then all I wanted to do is be different.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I don't know. And like, what was the way to go is you just have to be ahead of that curve.
Exactly. Whatever, you have to be out of phase.
You got to be out of phase. Everything's out of phase. Everything smarter is out of phase.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, you were saying.
Oh, that was, I just remember really having huge parts of my school experience be me just being I remember, for instance, there was this guy named Tom. Now, Tom nowadays is perfectly fine, and he's a super sweet guy. But I remember he had played the violin before being in orchestra, so he had played it since kindergarten. So he already knew the violin. And then we get to orchestra, and everybody's picking an instrument, and everybody thinks he's going to pick the violin, and he's like, "No, I'm going to pick the bass." Because I don't know the bass. And it's like already making choices that are like, oh, look he's so emotionally stable. What a mature decision.
Mm.
And of course, this orchestra director loves him because, of course, he's killer at the bass too, and can do these beautiful flourishes on the violin when he wants to. And it's just like, I'm just screaming at this dude because I'm like, this guy is just such a spiritual mama's boy. And everybody loves him, but it's only because, he has enough money to have violin lessons and lives in a really nice part of town. I went to his house once. I came home. I was just like devastated because I was like, I'm never going to catch up to this dude. And, I remember at the end of, this is the last thing I'll say, and then I am done.
No.
I remember I'll say.
I will only interrupt you if I feel like I have a
fair
joke.
Fair enough. But last day of, what was it, fifth?
Should I say, I should have dug deeper in that.
Ah, well, I'll give this.
Tell me something about his house.
Something about his house?
Marble in the bathroom? What
Yes.
yeah. TV in the bathroom? They had a little
No,
TV
because
behind
why
the
would
mirror?
they were an anti-TV, just
TVs are
books. Just books.
We don't have a TV on the first floor.
Yeah.
We've become those people.
No, but it's well, so as an aside, that's a good thing to be. But if you're a 12-year-old and you're trying to find any way to even feel like the same species as these kids,
Right.
and you're just clawing at nothing,
Right.
it's infuriating.
Nothing out of place.
Nothing
in the
out of
house,
place. No.
But not put away by his parents.
Bingo.
Put away by the help.
Oh, God. I mean, that's a whole other. I remember the last day of 6th grade, one of the teachers goes into the class that we're in. It's like we're in social studies. The math teacher says something to the social studies teacher and then says, I just want you to know, and says this in front of the entire this is psycho behavior. She says in front of the whole class, Tom, I just want you to know that Miss Allen told me that she really hopes that she has more students like you. And I'm like, does this guy just get everything he wants all the fucking time, kind of just for nothing? Like, are you kidding me right now?
We said he turned out fine, though.
No, he went to MIT. He goes
boy.
biking. No, he's a super and he's the sweetest guy you've ever met. I just look, I loved him. I actually really got along with him. I hated what he brought out of other people, because what he brought out of other people,
The adults.
and also students.
Okay.
He brought this blind adulation on account of talent and social grace.
And then, like, it's like when a celebrity comes in or whatever,
Yes.
and everyone acts a little shittier to
Slackjaw.
their friends.
Yes, exactly.
And then, because, like, they want to...
Exactly. He that sort of that side of because he showed me a side of humanity that I, when you're young, you haven't seen anything, and so this was my first. It was almost kind of like it was my first preview of what it's like, how guys act to each other when a really beautiful woman walks in the room.
Yes,
it's the exact same circuitry.
Right. Hey, you dumb turd. You're like, I
Yeah.
thought we were just buddies.
Exactly.
When she walks away, you're gonna be like, hey, man.
Exactly.
Can we hang out again?
And the beautiful woman has done nothing wrong, and she's super graceful, and I'm sure she's great conversation. But she turns every man around her into an absolute gorilla.
It's a scarcity mentality.
It's scarcity mentality.
That's what some comedy scenes suffer from, Zivan.
No, exactly.
There's enough turmeric latte for everyone. We're going to be fine.
Are we, though?
No, it never was fine, and it won't be. But now I like the idea of holding a grudge against other people in a competitive way where they don't know it's a competition. It's only in your mind.
Exactly.
That's like a fun part of life. I developed that with every person. I haven't found it with you yet. We'll get there.
Oh, well.
But it will happen.
As I get younger and you get older.
Exactly. There will be a moment where I'm like, I love people, and I'm on a ramp of upward love until I just find a reason to get, maybe is it competitive or whatever it is. Like my status feels threatened by their success, and it's a weird, gross feeling. And then once I can recognize now that it's happening and let go of it. But when you're a whatever age you were in that story,
middle school,
you don't know that that's what's
you have
happening.
No reference.
Yeah, it's all consuming.
Well, yeah, you have to, and I'm glad it happened. Actually,
yeah,
I'm glad that because now I have that. I remember I was talking to one guy, similar dude, Scotty. Scotty was just like a genius. Just really, really sharp dude, really good at math, could remember everything, really smart guy. And I remember like late high school, so we weren't even out of grade school yet. I remember talking to him and being like, I always felt like people just really liked you and just really hated me. And it was frustrating to me because I always liked talking to you, but I almost felt like I couldn't because, we were in different whatever. And I wanted to do smart stuff with you, but I always felt like there was this weird... And he said, actually, we all really liked you because you would oftentimes, this sounds so, maybe it's cliche, but you would often say what everybody was thinking, and right, you would not take any shit from any of the authority figures.
You're called a shit screen.
Exactly. Yeah. I would throw myself against the, tis better to suffer the slings and arrows of Mrs. Johnson, to Z or not to Z.
ZZ.
Exactly.
I'm in a company right now for work that which I don't do. I don't have a day job. I'm a professional comedian. But if I was to have a day job, we just lost that guy. He just retired. He's in his 60s, and he would derail every meeting. But in that derailment, 80% of what he said, no one was willing to say, and it needed to be said.
Yep.
And then 20% was too far. But it's really important.
Well, you can't have one without the other.
You really can't.
There's no way of getting rid of that 20 without just losing the rest of the 80.
You really can't.
It has to be Pareto.
Got to crack a few eggs, whatever the omelet is that we're making. I don't know, but he did it, and that guy left, and you go, now do I got to be the old stick in the mud in the next quarterly meeting?
Oh yeah,
looks like I'm going to have to as the old guy around here. All right. I like all of those. I like those ideas a lot too.
There's a lot of fertile.
There's something in the idea of no one wanting to listen to your tales of woe as a gifted student, but there is something cool about everybody having. I can guarantee you, every dum-dum on the basketball team. There's smart people on the basketball team too. But every person on the basketball team, regardless of intelligence or book smarts, let's say, went through those same interpersonal things.
Everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very relatable idea. I remembered when we tested students, when we did standardized testing.
Yeah.
I would always... Because sometimes it was the whole class, and you'd go, they never told you what the test was for or what it was about or what your score was. You didn't know until you were in high school, essentially.
And then the orderlies come in and they start pointing at kids.
Here's your number. You got a number on the SAT and the ACT.
The dart into your neck, and there's a number sticking out.
Everything else, I don't even think it went to my parents. I think they just kept it internal.
Oh, yeah.
Like they give you an IQ test, but they don't tell you your IQ. They said that's supposed to be bad for kids.
Can I? Okay. As a same woman that told the whole class the thing about.
I wish more kids were like you.
About the whole proclamation. She told us at the beginning of 5th grade. So we had 5th grade, 6th grade with her. She said, "I just want you guys to know that Crystal Cardinal received the highest score on the IQ assessment that you guys all took.
And then everyone turns to Crystal, and
Yeah.
she's got her finger in her nose. Like, what's the?
No, well,
Is she smart?
Oh, she was perfect.
Yeah,
She was perfect.
Oh boy.
No. She was just.
Can we change the lighting in here?
No, shut the hell up. It's.
Where
No,
is she now? Husband?
I don't know. I don't know what she's
Wife?
doing. I
Whatever,
assume
you know.
she's studying quantum gender studies in the Yale Super Collider. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I bet you do, and I bet you stalk her on Facebook.
No, I
and
really,
you should. If you don't, you should. Because
it would be interesting to see what's up. But I just,
we now have a theme for the podcast. It's called, what's her name? Crystal Hardinger?
Crystal Cardinal, like the bird.
Crystal Cardinal.
Yes.
This podcast is now called Crystal Cardinal. Are you out there?
Looking for crystal.
Looking
for crystal.
We could do a
Hidden gem.
we could do a
Crystal Cardinal story.
Bobby Fischer
Looking for Bobby. Yeah, that's right.
chess
Josh
camp,
Waitskin, yeah.
and then tie it back in. I think that's my goal with this, is to connect you with Crystal. You don't know you love her, but you do. And then we're going to find out that she's got like 4 kids, happily married, and we're going to apologize deeply to her family.
Oh, God.
So they're not supposed to. They always said that it makes the dumb kids discouraged. It makes the smart kids lazy.
Complacent,
The high scores, whatever.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
also true. It goes back into, well, we'll get into that in a minute. But they never let me see what the test was.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one had like a penguin on it. Like, what is this? Is this the state of Ohio? We don't have Youngstown State has penguins, by the way. That's their mascot. But what am I looking at? And then I would size up the kids in the room to go. I vividly remember they would, sometimes it was the whole class, but sometimes they'd call like 4 kids off to another room. And I remember one time they took 4 of us to the other room, and I look around at the other 3 kids. I was like, this isn't the gifted program. I must have really bombed on that test. And now I'm getting the makeup test to make sure I can get into 4th grade.
Test.
It was horrifying. I was like, oh, we cannot be doing this together. And you know what it might have been? We were all sick one day or whatever, and then still had to take it. Like, who knows? But oh man, just always trying to size up who else is in the room.
Oh, yeah.
As a barometer of, am I doing okay?
Yep.
Really not healthy. So they didn't tell you your IQs, but we figured it out.
Oh, I mean, you have any way of figuring out. It's
It goes back into, of course, success changes in the world, and it goes back into that anxiety that you're dealing with. You, the us, everyone. There was a comic, Drew Dunn, I believe, a New Englander somewhere. He had a bit about we're the most anxious generation, the millennial or whatever, Zoomers or what. I think it was millennials he was talking about, but so much anxiety because we have watched so many ways to get instantly stupid rich come and go, and that we've missed them all.
Yep.
And how much like that just will
Destabilize you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Because like,
What's worth investing in?
exactly. I need a goal. I need to work towards something in life. And you're like, oh, I could have just bought that thing and sold it a day
For
later
$1 billion?
and never worked again.
Oh.
What is my purpose
Yeah.
now?
Oh, yeah.
It is destabilizing.
It's extremely, that's exactly the word I want to use, because it feels like it's very hard to look for, not even like look forward to things, but it's just kind of like, what do I even start doing? What do I even start putting my effort towards?
That goes back to how men act when a pretty woman walks in the door. That's why fish swim in schools, because the shark doesn't know which one to go after.
Exactly. You don't have to be the fastest wildebeest.
And then if it's a room full of beautiful models, I was trying to come up with a more specific example, and I just stuttered. And that's why I would stutter if there was a room of beautiful models.
And thinking about them.
What were we talking about? Okay, the that's it too. You can't focus on one. You can't pick one and go after it. You can't pick a goal and go after it. You can't. I am a predatory animal, and if I don't have, if I see something running from me, I have to chase it. That's what I heard about mountain lions. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, you don't want to activate their chase instinct.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they say you have to face it and back away slowly.
Mm-hmm.
It's so that they don't get like this evolutionary urge to jump and grab you.
Yep.
But I was going to say something about this is in part why I feel like I'm actually kind of happy that I'm as impulsive as I am, because it makes it easier for me to navigate life if I don't even give myself an option. If I just immediately, snap at something that's inches away from me.
We got a Zivan snap, and Zivan does the snaps.
Do I do the snaps?
You do the snaps when it clicks, of course.
Yeah,
you give it a click.
That's the noise.
And that happens every once in a while in our conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was in the sound studio and it had a unique echo for
It did, yeah. It was a little bit. It was like tinnier.
It had a
It
tinny.
had like a Z.
So we'd love to hear how that comes out
Yeah.
in the recording. Now, you were saying about impulsiveness.
Mm-hmm.
I write that in my notebook a lot.
Be impulsive at this time of day.
Follow your impulses
Yes.
instead of follow your dreams. I like to say follow your impulses because I do feel as one without free will for most of my day.
I'm but a puppet.
I am but a puppet of urges. And boy, is it wrong though? You were pro.
No.
You're pro impulses.
I'm pro. Well, I mean, there's
Defend
caveats
it.
here.
Yeah.
I think what I'm really saying is, so actually, we talked about looking for Bobby Fischer. That
Was it
movie,
Searching for Bobby Fischer?
Searching for Bobby Fischer.
I never saw it.
Yeah, well, Searching for Bobby Fischer is actually about this young guy named Joshua Waitzkin. He was a chess player, and he was the reason for the title of the movie.
Did you watch this on a projector at chess camp? Go ahead.
It could be you. That if they had done that, I would be playing to this day. I'm a sucker for Destiny. But basically, the conceit of the movie is loosely that Joshua is like the reincarnation of Bobby Fischer, like basically like the spiritual successor of Bobby Fischer.
But Bobby Fischer was still alive,
Yeah,
right?
This is an elastic metaphor.
Got it.
Point is, the goddamn movie is about goddamn chess. But Joshua Waitzkin, that's what I wanted to get to. Joshua Waitzkin's a very interesting dude. He has a really cool book called The Art of Learning that I read a while back. And one thing he would do very differently than other chess sort of prodigies, because there's a million of them. They all have these little camps or whatever. He would basically take he wouldn't memorize openings. He wouldn't even memorize. There's no way to memorize end games. He would learn end games really, really well. Rook, pawn, king. Bishop, knight, pawn.
Okay.
King. Just like really tight configurations.
Like what you have.
What you have. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. That's
I'm
what
so dumb in chess. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's fine. What's the point? He would learn end games super well because the end game is the Wild West. There's trillions of possible end games and not very many possible openings.
Right.
So end games are way more delicate and way harder to navigate. And so what he would do is he would basically play the game so chaotically to try to get to the end game quickly.
I see.
And then he would just wrestle these kids into submission because he could handle the chaos of late mid game, early end game.
Totally get it.
So he could handle it.
Perfectly explained.
There you go. So that's kind of that's sort of my own philosophy towards things. Which
just
is
get
like,
it going.
Yeah, just like let's just make a decision.
And we'll wrap it up.
If things get whatever, but I'm going to get really good at managing chaos.
And that's how you made it through the gifted program.
And that is how I made it through the gifted program.
That's perfect.
Exactly. I mean, I would get to, high levels of of state competitions for science fair or whatever, sort of by the seat of my pants, sort of just by you know what, we're just going to do this and then we're just going to figure it out on the way in.
I'm cooking hot dogs on my desk.
Exactly.
What do you want? Let's get
in here
and go.
Do you want some mustard and a blue ribbon?
And then at the end they say, we need you to finish this test that we handed out.
Exactly.
And he's like,
it's okay if I have some schmutz on my lip while I do this?
And then you do it. That's the way, that's the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, in a way it is. It's very, but I hate to believe that it's because I chose that. I think it really is just I recognized in myself I'm not really a good planner. I don't really have, I can either look very far ahead or very up close. I don't have good mid-range vision.
Yeah, and you're not. I'm not saying you're not a good collaborator, but it's people who are more collaborative can do that better.
Yeah.
Right? They can be like, I'll be the planner, and someone else has to be the executor.
Executor.
That was the worst inflection I've put in a word today. And whereas the lone wolf, the entrepreneur, the person who can take the orienteer. There we go. I did another worse.
Orienter?
Sure. I was trying to work backward from the word orientation. No, orienteering. I was trying to work backward from orienteering.
Yeah.
When you're lost in the woods.
Oh, I guess that is what that's called.
And you take like 5 steps forward
Mm-hmm.
and then see where you are and reevaluate and then take 5 more steps in the next best direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like a local maximization.
And that's what I feel like that's what you're alluding to here. You have to act.
Yeah.
And then adjust from action. You can't just think and map it all out perfectly.
Exactly. There's it's the same thing in stand up. I think, right now, I think I'm not so much confident of my own success on the stage. I'm more just confident in my ability to withstand failure.
Yeah.
And that's way more valuable, I think. Is when I get on stage, I don't think I'm going to crush. I just think if part of this sucks, we'll save it.
Yeah, we'll be alive. We'll be in the moment. We're breathing air.
Yeah,
and
I'm not chasing failure either. I'm just trying to be at this reactive state instead of a prescriptive or degradative.
Just reading the pre-written jokes out loud as a monkey could do.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's
a literate monkey, as a literate monkey would be able to do.
Well, after they write Hamlet, they have to write my Type 5.
I like that.
Yeah,
with the typewriters.
Yeah,
is this the?
Yeah,
I get it. Was it Hamlet? Was the?
I believe that was the initial. The initial metaphor.
What was that? What was the boat where they replaced one board at a time? And
Theseus. Ship of Theseus.
Theseus. Like poop. You seem tired of me. This is Greek? Was he Greek?
Yeah, he was Greek.
Oh, look at us! Look at what we did.
Yeah, how about that?
We did that.
How about it?
I thought we were onto something.
It's all the same. When does a heap become a pile, kind of thing.
But here's what I want to know: the ship of Theseus.
Mm-hmm.
Does that apply to when you go see Journey on tour?
What?
And
what?
Or Van Halen?
Oh, when they swap
every
band
member.
members. Okay, it took me fucking forever.
And it's the.
I think actually
the keyboardist is the same, and everyone else
is different.
Different.
I think that's actually a better illustration than the Ship of Theseus, because
Don't Stop Believing.
Oh, that's right. Don't stop acknowledging that this is the same band. Hold on to the notion that this is the same band. Well, that's interesting. I mean, I think, this has been litigated hundreds of millions of times. But I've always been of the opinion that it is the same ship.
Hey, if you want someone to come down firm on one side of a philosophical argument, you're in the right place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just like to pose the questions.
Of course.
I stir the pot and leave. I was accused of doing this at a previous workplace.
Really? That you stirred the pot?
Yeah. If there was I haven't spoken about this ever, but if there was an argument happening on the other side, other bullpen, it's those like cubicle bullpens, 4 cubes and then 4 cubes. Mm-hmm. I was alone on my side. And if I heard the other side
bickering,
I would take the losing side and just prairie dog it, put a little fuel on the fire, and then go back down and let them keep.
Oh, that's horrible.
I was.
I would have hated to work with you.
Oh, man.
Or would I have? I don't know.
Well, then there was one nice lady who sat in that other arguing side and said the argument was almost. She would send me a message like privately on the communicator, I believe it was. So it would say like that was almost done, and you just added 10 minutes to that argument. It was always we all knew what was happening. Oh, what is that? Now that's a sick impulse that I have, and that's probably
To prolong.
me not happy with. That's when I didn't have my own thing to work on, my own goal to strive for.
Yeah.
I wanted to see everyone else's goals go to poop. I'm just like my son. When his tower falls over, he knocks down his sister's tower. But the greatest thing I ever saw, this was with my cousins in Greece. They each had a balloon. You know, a helium balloon to a child is a countdown to devastation. It's tears. Tears are just inevitable.
That is the doomsday clock.
It's the doomsday clock. Yes.
That's
Why
the
did we
war
invent this object of destruction? And the one kid was playing with his balloon, the younger one. No, the older one. The older one. This was behavior I'd expect out of the younger one. But the older one was playing around. The balloon hits the ceiling. Bump, bump, bump. Out the door. Gone forever.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes and takes his brother's balloon.
And
Not to have as his own.
nope.
To release into the atmosphere.
I can't eat. Oh my God.
How human is that?
That is insanely human. Oh my God. That's
You would think he would just want to replace it for himself.
no. What a beautiful illustration. That's the cleanest I can ever get.
Yeah.
That is. There's no illustration of human nature better than that.
Yeah. Yep. And so where do we take this? I don't know. But it does feel like we've touched on a lot here.
Oh yeah. This is very fecund, fertile.
Do you Theseus?
Theseus?
Ship
Of
of feces? It's potty humor. There was one last okay, so they told you in school, had said they were telling you in school, in my generation you were testing that theory. They told you how things worked more. They showed you behind the curtain of the educational structure.
I was asking if it seemed to me that they did that to your generation more so than mine.
I feel like I have a lot of those things. Like, here's the types of learners.
Okay, that would be an example that I can share with you.
Yeah. Okay, you had that too, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So like visual,
Right.
linguistic. We had one called natural, like naturalists, like people who were. So obviously, like there was auditory, visual, kinesthetic. Those make sense. But then there were things like naturalistic learners.
They needed sand and dirt.
Yeah, like which you know what, in hindsight kind of makes sense because there are kids that are more, not just like outdoorsy, but just more like earthy. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, of course. The kids, the shorts year round kids.
Yeah, they just like they need to. They can like talk to animals.
They currently have a tattoo of like the sun with like the wave kind of looking.
Yeah,
flares
the
on
really
it.
cool, like the astrolot, like the alchemist's sun.
Yeah.
You know
like
what
the
I mean?
Sublime logo, but
Yeah,
they
yeah,
weren't into Sublime.
100%.
Yes.
No, I think that so looking back, maybe that wasn't so hippy dippy, but types of learners I knew about.
Yeah, I'm wondering, and people now, it's like I'm really down on this revelation. I always love to put down people's revelations because I don't have my own revelations.
Right. Yes.
But I'm really putting down this revelation that the entire school structure, the public schools, see how I did it in the dumb voice? I hate when this, you have a weak argument when you portray the other person
the voice of the opposing
in
argument.
a dumb voice. Because this is what how my wife and I talk to each other when we have a disagreement. But you have the idea, I'm going to say this in a sophisticated way, that the academic structuring of our society was based on preparing people to work
in the fields.
In the industrial.
Yeah,
There's
or like
a bell.
farmers.
You get there on time.
Yeah.
You sit in an order. You read the thing, you learn the thing, and you show that you learn the thing. Whatever it is, and how that is no longer applicable to the world. But yet, however, I'll say my point in the dumb voice.
That's interesting.
Here's the thing, all right?
Okay.
If I have a laceration on my arm, I want the EMT to be a guy who paid attention in school and shows up on time.
Yeah. That was me agreeing in a dumb voice because I think that's stupid.
I think I don't know. I'm more sensitive to the idea that our world is run by people who risk their physical health to keep the shit flowing through the sewers, the electricity flowing through the lines, the gas flowing through the pipelines, while every asshole gets on their phone and talks about how they've figured out the system.
Yeah.
And if that system that they have just risen above, if it had a hiccup, if Atlas shrugged,
ding, 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 ding.
there would be nobody to send the bits of their Instagram post out into nothingness.
Yeah. If Atlas shrugged. You know what's so interesting about that book is that when I first saw it, I actually thought it was going to be about like sanitation workers and electrical engineers and EMTs and firefighters. Mm-hmm. But it is not about
It's about railroaders.
It's about railroaders, and it's not even the people who work the railroads.
No, just the guy who thought
it's the guy who came up with the perfect
risked the capital, Zivan. It's called risked the capital.
Yes, that's right. That is correct. That is correct. He did risk the immense capital of.
Listen, as a stand-up comic, I in the political spectrum of stand-up comedians, I am Comedia. I am way too far to the right. Okay. However, I read that book and I found it to be incredibly boring.
It's
the leftists characters were all very one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. The right-wing characters, or whatever the correct characters,
what is it called? Objectivists.
The educated and real people, the characters that lived in the real world.
Yeah, the incredibly beautiful demigods.
Yes, were a little overbearing for me.
Oh, they're annoying.
Yes, and I didn't like that they were in love. I also found that disgusting.
There was so much. Go on. I'm going to let you just go off, King.
I really that book pushed me to the left, is what I'm going to say.
It'll do. I read it when I was. I think exactly 15.
Well, now man, let's take that back to being an academic young man. This is the number one woe is me moment for the gifted and talented, the G's and T's as we now call them. the number one reason why life isn't fair for smart people, I'll tell you right now. Your reading level does not match your maturity and life experience level. So you're able to read Grapes of Wrath when you're 12, but you have no idea what it's like to try to survive with your family, Zivan. You got no clue what's going on in the world. Just because you can read past
Paradise Lost.
Thank you. What do you know about it? Do you know how the Sistine Chapel smells? I think is what
Robin Williams very said. Shittily recreating that scene right now. But when you look up at those paintings and you smell the musk balls coming out from the crypt.
Rest in peace, Robin Williams.
Yeah, I would be. That's why I would do that scene. Hey, kiddo,
I just explained Good Will Hunting. I thought I was getting somewhere. I really thought.
No, it's good. It's a good point. You did make a good point though. You made a very good point.
Thank you.
Which is there's no life context even for something like The Lord of the Rings.
Right.
The Lord of the Rings, it's fantasy, but it's deep.
Right.
And it's about Catholicism and it's about war. It's actually mostly about war.
Yes.
It's really chiefly a book about the horrors of war and how victory is often Pyrrhic and how evil and good are simultaneously very binary and very gray. There's a scene, this is my favorite part in the whole of The Lord of the Rings, where they're walking and they see, this is something that they didn't show in the movies, but it wasn't just orcs and monsters. There were men on the side of Sauron.
Just like the French that fought for the Nazis.
Exactly. Like there were actually like regular human, capital M men who marched and fought with Sauron and Saruman. They were like mostly from the south and the east. But
of course.
yeah, well, yeah, there's a whole fucking.
What are we gonna do with Georgia? Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, there's a scene where I can't remember who's thinking. I think it might have been Frodo or maybe like Samwise or something. And they're seeing this like procession of, they're called Easterlings, is those men from the east. They're Easterlings. And they see this procession, and he thinks, what truths and lies have they been told to give their lives in the same as ours?
Right.
Which is basically just the whole, old men send young men to die on their behalf, and it doesn't really matter who it is. If it's Sauron or Gandalf, it's the same situation. And it's like this beautiful moment that just gets completely dwarfed in the rest of, because most of the book is just talking about hills. And
there's a lot of CGI.
There's all CGI.
I'm just kidding.
It's you have to wear a skin tight green just to
the
even
balls
open
on it.
Open, yeah. Oh yeah, mocap balls.
Motion capture.
Motion capture. Yeah.
Oh, I picked up on that. I had no idea.
Mocap. Yeah. But no, yeah, something like Lord of the Rings, you still need to have such a just. You can still appreciate the high art.
Right, but what 12-year-old's going to pull that out of that
no.
book and you go, wow. Yeah, that's it. And I've every book I read in high school, I'm reading now and going, wow, these were really great books.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were boring. Give me, like, the best you could ask for was, like, Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah.
Where you're like, okay, he's doing something. And now I've never went and revisited that because I didn't have a beef with it.
Mm-hmm.
I should reread it now to be like, what profound thing in here did I completely pass up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I remember feeling, I was a weird, I think, G&T, as we've gin and tonic, because I was very much like, I was absorbing Lord of the Rings, I was reading Foundation, I was reading Atlas Shrugged, but I also watched an incredible amount of TV.
Darkwing Duck. Oh, you were younger.
Yeah, that's
you didn't have Darkwing Duck.
We had actually, I did watch Duck Dodgers or Captain Duck Dodgers.
Wow, yeah, we missed.
Like
we are two ships passing in the night here.
We really are.
Cartoons.
But I watched a lot of cartoons.
But you knew the Batman, same bat time, same bat place. But that is just like, is that just part of the culture now? Do we ever still know that?
But I also watched a little bit of
the live Batman,
the
Adam West. You had maybe were we overlapping on Rugrats? Was that?
Yes.
Okay.
Doug like really Nickelodeon.
Was Doug gone by then?
Doug was still. They would play it occasionally on Nickelodeon, and then they would also play it on Nicktoons, which was the throwback channel. So there would be like Cartoon Network.
Can you picture the, like a 14-year-old being like, I just watched the throwback Nickelodeon.
No, I really liked
back when Nickelodeon played cartoons.
Well, Nickelodeon used to do a lot of like game shows.
Well, Family Double Dare.
Family Double Dare. What was the thing with Aggro Crag? Guts. Do you have it?
And
Guts.
And Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So I would watch those. Those were
okay.
Cool.
So you do know a lot of things. There was a Hard Times headline, and I'm gonna butcher it, but it was like, "Hey, do you want to come hang out and talk about things from the '90s?" It was just, I forget how I got to get the quote right. The headline, of course, is precisely written and probably better than I just said it.
Mm-hmm.
But that idea of like, once you hit an age, you just start
talking,
ping-ponging proper nouns from the 90s, and it counts as a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's really...
Pretty much.
It's really bad. That's all I do as an adult, anyhow. I'm just reliving my last 5 social interactions, and all I did was just trade points of reference.
Oh, gosh. I do that every now and then with my friends. No, I think that's what people do. I think that's what people do.
That's fair. But now, don't we agree, Zivan?
No.
That someone has to do the work. Someone has to do the making factory workers. You know what I'm saying?
Making factory workers?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Like the whole breaking down the system or whatever, figuring out what the worldview is.
Yeah. And we've gone silly willy and we've gone selfish.
No, I think. I mean, it's something I think about a lot, especially like when I'm on Instagram, which is every other story is about like there's verbal structures people will use where they'll say something like, "Can we talk about?"
Oh my goodness.
And it's like all of a sudden in this 10-second story,
Yes.
they're like summoning a forum.
Holy cow.
And you know what? It's very sneaky. And sneaky is not the right word.
No, it is.
It's very interesting because it's not really a forum. We're not
No.
actually going to sit down and have a conversation.
We're not talking about anything.
But when I say can we talk about it, like it's like a magnetic field, and everybody's like an iron filing for a moment.
And am I part of the solution or part of the problem?
Exactly.
Oh, well, I'm going to talk about it because I'm part of the solution.
Bingo.
I'm not.
Because problem solvers talk.
I'm not my racist ancestors.
Exactly. Who don't want to even say it.
They don't even want to talk about it.
Exactly.
I see colors, Zivan.
Mm-hmm.
You are you're a
kind of clay brown.
I'm gonna say cortado.
Cortado?
Cortados. That's my favorite. Yeah. That's my favorite espresso drink.
Yeah.
And it comes from the Spanish to cut.
To cut. Ah, that makes sense.
And so I was doubly wrong in what I just said.
Well, you got like a yellowy. You got kind of like a yellowy olive.
It's because summer hasn't hit yet. Okay, at the end of summer, it's going to look a lot better.
Okay, I'm
I got
not
it.
even saying it's bad. You've got it like a.
It is bad and it is yellow.
You've got like
it is. You're right.
A sunshine oil.
There are clothes. I have no sense of fashion, but I do know that there are colors in my wardrobe that I cannot wear May 1st, but I can wear August 1st because of how they complement my skin tone, which will change drastically over the next 4 months.
Oh, that's interesting. You know what? Actually, yes, because during the summer I wear less blue, and I wear more like red, brown, black because I am a little darker. There's more like less of a gradient. But in the wintertime, I'm wearing like yellow, blue, like radioactive TV colors. That's what I'm wearing when I myself am yellower.
I'm telling you, in August, I can't go through the airport. You know what I'm saying? I can't drive a nice car. In the city, life's hard for me. Everyone knows I have it easy in the burbs. What am I even worried about? I did used to have a big bushy mustache, and when I first dropped the mustache, I would have a harder time at TSA. And it was the random screenings, but listen, you take what you want to take from that.
I gotcha.
I had a hard time.
I gotcha.
With the whiskers.
You do look like the face of a terrorist organization. You do kind of have the.
Thank you. I could at least lead. I'm glad I'm not
an
underling.
You're like Taliban GQ.
Thank you.
That's
where we need to be. I step to the edge of the cave with a little bit of sunlight because that's where I belong.
Yeah, they keep you. They're like, don't give Chris a vest. He shouldn't even be on the battlefield. We need him for PR.
That has been okay, Zivan. What was the previous thing you just said? Actually, we can go back and listen to it because I want to be the jumping off point for our next conversation because it's too rich,
90s
too deep.
School.
Yeah, we'll get to it. No, we did all that stuff. We did it. We said it all, as Howard Stern would say. I'll find it. I'll listen back.
Okay, cool.
Because we had a moment where I said that could be a whole thing. And then the next thing that could be a whole thing is my delusions of what I would do. I have these day terrors of what would I do if we were in war right now. And I think I would luckily be behind a computer. I would talk up my bravery to my neighborhood, but when it came time to enlist, I would be saying, I have computer skills. Please send me to the nerd station in the mountain. NORAD. I'll be in NORAD for everyone if you need me.
Well, I'll be in NORAD as well, Chris. And we'll be in NORAD together recording the same thing.
We'll see you next time.
All right. Memory overloaded.